since this article that I'm about to show you came out and the ripples that it has had throughout the homeschool community. This is a Homestead channel, and we homeschool on our homestead. Homeschool topics and homeschool news are very important to us. We pay attention to these things. And so when things, and I know a lot of you guys out there are homeschooling as well, and so when something like this comes up, you know, it's of interest to you. And I don't know if you saw this the other day, but I want to point it out to you. You probably did. If you're in tune with homeschooling news, you probably saw this, what I'm about to show you, but you may not be in tune with all the ripples that it's having across the education world, whether it's public or homeschool, whatever. Because there are some major things happening because of this. And I said before in a video not too long ago, I said there might be some silver linings coming out of all this. Now, there's definitely some bad things that we're seeing here, namely the lack of liberty and the attacks on our constitutionally guaranteed freedoms, God-given freedoms that the Constitution lines out for us. But and some of those things, it's even a silver lining there because we're absolutely identifying some of these bureaucrats and elected politicians who would take away some of those liberties and freedoms. And that allows us to target them for removal out of office, which is a good thing. So all of that said, I think there are some silver linings happening throughout all this. Some things that benefit the family, and which the family has been under major attack in this country over the last 40 years, for sure. Absolutely, especially since the passage of Roe versus Wade and some other things. So all that aside, let's go ahead and share this article. I want to talk to you about this article and then share another article with you that talk about the repercussions that's happening throughout the world of education in the West and especially in America. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So coming out of Breitbart News, May 14th, this was a little over a week ago, and when this came out, and I saw this, and this was spread far and wide on social media. People were talking about it. It was on the front page of Drudge Report and a lot of other news websites, and it says, poll, 40% of families more likely to homeschool when the pandemic ends. Now, these are families that normally send their children to public school, private school, charter school, whatever, and they're having their kids home, and 40% of those now families who have their children at home because of this whole situation, they're saying, you know, maybe we should do homeschool. We're just thinking about it. We're spitballing the idea that perhaps when this is over, maybe we'll continue to homeschool. And there's some reasons for that. We'll get to that in a second. But let's go ahead and read the article. It says a Real Clear Opinion research poll released Thursday found 40% of families are more likely to choose to homeschool their children or engage in virtual learning once the coronavirus pandemic subsides. Now, so this has given them plenty of time over the course of a couple months now to get an idea of what it takes to homeschool. And now this poll comes out, people who, after a few months of doing this, they're getting their opinions. The survey asked parents, are you more or less likely to enroll your son or daughter in a homeschool neighborhood, homeschool co-op, or virtual school once the lockdowns are over? Of the 626 parents who responded, 40.8% said that they were more likely to do so, while 31.1% replied that they were less likely. With political party as a factor, 45.7% of parents who said that they would be more likely to homeschool identified as Democrat, while 42.3% identified as Republican. Now, all that aside, who really cares about, you know, the breakdown of the race or political party or any of that? The big number here is to say is that 40.8% said they're just likely, they're more likely. Doesn't mean that they're going to, but it's crossed their mind. Now, that is significant when you understand that the education world today that we live in, they survive on tax dollars that is accrued to them by the number of people they have enrolled in their public school system. So if 40.8%, basically 40%, 41% round up, let's round up, 41%. If 41%, folks, of people are thinking about leaving the public school system to homeschool, oh, can you, this is an earthquake. This is a giant tsunami, catastrophic earthquake that has happened throughout the education department of this country. Because that's tax dollars that just go away. That's funding that these teachers unions use to survive. And these teachers unions, boy, the people at the top of these unions, they live posh. Oh, do they live posh? Nice cars, nice homes. I mean, always eating out at the fanciest of restaurants, vacations in places that are so beautiful you and I could never dream of going to because they have all this money. They have all this money. This tax dollars, your tax dollars, because of the kids that are enrolled in their public indoctrination centers called the public schools. Now, to prove that I'm not off on this, a few days after that article came out, and it was spread everywhere, this article came out, PJ Media. Teachers Union Nightmare Poll. Parents more likely to keep up homeschooling after lockdown. America is getting a first-hand lesson in homeschooling during the COVID-19 lockdown. The new poll suggests that a huge chunk of parents are likely to keep it up. An overwhelming number support school choice, and this could very well be sending a frisson of terror down the backs of teachers union leaders everywhere, and for very good reason. Parents have been watching the teachers' reactions to the lockdowns. In LA, teachers union leaders groused that virtual schooling thing is too hard and instructors need more money to teach in their PJs. That's pajamas for those of you who for those of you who are public schooled. In Boston, before they could teach the kids, the union had to approve the plan. Gee, I can't imagine where parents could get the idea that the schools are run on behalf of the adults and not the kids. Strange, really. As famed philosopher and pedagogue Paris Hilton, Paris, where's she been lately? Paris Hilton once said, math is hard, and all you read in the media are parental horror stories about trying to teach math. That's true. All of these articles I've been seeing in the media are saying, how parents just can't cope. It's too hard. And I know, guys, for some of you out there who listen to my channel for the homesteading and you're homeschooling for the first time, I have seen some of the frustration. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. It is a hard choice. And, me and, Jamie, when she was here and she was, home, there was days where she got frustrated. There's days where I get frustrated. And so it can be tough. It can be hard. But see, hard things are the most rewarding things. The things you have to put the most time and effort and energy and sweat, blood, and tears into something, the more you're going to get out of it. And these are your children, for crying out loud. So it's important to put all of that energy and time and sweat equity into something as important as your children. So, but the shocking poll by Real Clear Opinion Research shows that parents are very receptive to taking their children's education into their own hands, whether it be homeschooling or non-traditional education sources. The national poll of 2,122 registered voters showed that parents of all social, economic, and political backgrounds support school choice, and 40% are more likely to homeschool. Folks, this is a nightmare for the public education system in this country. And not only is it a nightmare at the very idea of them losing the tax dollars, but the fact, because most of these unions, most of these people in these different parts of the education departments around the country, they really want to find a way to get rid of homeschooling altogether. In fact, there was another article that came out just not that long ago about how they're trying to do some invitation-only conference at Harvard that's going to allow people to come there and figure out what is our best strategy of ending homeschool completely in this country. Because that's what they want to do. It's a threat. It's a threat on their received tax dollars. It's a threat on their influence because they want to be able to influence these children as they see fit. And homeschoolers are standing in the way of that because it's gaining steam, because people normal parents will take their education of their children seriously. There's two things I see driving this. Two things I see driving this, and that is this. Number one, parents generally like to spend time with their kids. It's just something that parents who want to be parents like to do. And I cannot tell you, both me and Jamie shared this idea, shared this thought, is that there is nothing better than to see your child whom you love learn something new. When you see the expression on their face of something they've just learned and the wonder that comes across their mind and the wonder that shows on their face when they learn something extraordinary, you can't beat that. There's no price you can put on that. A child that you have created, you brought into this world, and you show them something new, they learn something through you. I mean, isn't that why teachers become teachers? Isn't that why teachers used to become teachers? I know there's some teachers out there who still do that. And you get a lot of benefit being teachers by seeing the wonder and the amazement when your children whom you're teaching learn something new. How much so is it that way for parents? When parents have their own children and they're teaching them and they're seeing something new come across, that wonder that a child expresses when he sees, when he or she learns something. Yes. See, that's one of the things that's driving this. The second thing that's driving this, the wonder's the first. The second thing that's driving this is the outright amazement and horror of what your children are actually learning. Because see, all these schools are sending home their packets, their folders and all the material, whatever it is, either on laptop or paper, whatever. And the parents are looking through this and they're going, I can't believe this is what you're learning at school? Are you insane? That's the second thing. That's the second reason why parents are thinking, you know what? End of the day, they've gone through the packet. It's they can't believe that their kids are learning this absolute nonsense. And they're talking with their spouse at the end of the day, going to bed, and say, maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea. Did you see what young Johnny is learning over here? Young Susie is learning here? I can't believe they're teaching him this stuff. I can't believe, because the bar has been set so low with the Department of Education. And, I have a 13-year-old. I know he could pass. I've taken the test. I've seen the test for, he could pass his GED now. He wouldn't get a high score. But he could barely pass because the bar is set so low for kids today that if you have listen, I've seen some of the kids who graduate the public schools here, and they can't even read. These are high school students, 17, 18 years old, graduating high school, and they can't read at all, hardly. The bar is set so low. And so these parents take a look at the material. They took a look at how low the bar is set, and they want a higher standard for their children. And so they're looking through all this material, and they're like, this is insane. I don't want my kids. Are you seriously? This is what my kids are going to be. What parent doesn't want their child to do better than they did? To exceed in the things that they did? A normal parent, a loving parent will want their children to do better than they did. To exceed them in every way. But if you're going to a school who's dumbing down everything so for the lowest common denominator, that's not happening. It's not going to happen. And so at the end of the day, you're like, talking with your spouse, maybe we ought to homeschool Johnny and Susie. And maybe it wouldn't be so hard. Those are the two things that are fueling this, folks. Two things. Number one, people love to see their children learn because they love their kids. And number two, they can't believe the incredible nonsense that's being taught in the public school because now they've seen it. The packets, they're going home with them and they're looking through this and like, are you kidding me? This is what my kids are learning? They're doomed. That is the two things that are the driving force behind this. And 40%, even if it's 20, even if it's half that, even if it's a quarter of that, if 10% of the parents pull their kids out of school, that's a devastating effect on the amount of tax dollars that these education systems and teachers unions will receive. Devastating. Absolutely devastating. And here's the deal. The cat's out of the bag, folks. The cat's out of the bag. Homeschooling has grown so much in the last 2 decades in this country. It's you're not putting this cat back in the bag. And this just put the nail in the coffin. Unless they do something absolutely quick, fast, and in a hurry about all of this craze that's sweeping America about teaching your own children. Oh no, we can't have that. No. Unless they do something quick, the cat's out of the bag for good. And that's good for us. Because we've seen what's happened in Europe where parents are actually jailed for homeschooling their kids, keeping their kids home from school against the wishes of the government. And we want that liberty. We want that freedom because we want our kids to excel in every way. Our state, very friendly homeschool state, it's Arkansas. They had mandatory testing for a while. And the teachers' unions thought, if we can get the legislature to enforce and pass mandatory testing for homeschoolers, people will see how stupid homeschooling is because of how low the test scores are, and they'll all come back to the public school system. And it'll be ridiculed into oblivion, this homeschool idea. You know what happened? I've said it before on my channel. The scores were so high in our state for the homeschoolers, it made the public schools look like a bunch of illiterate bumpkins, you know. It made them look so bad that they said, okay, let's just get rid of this requirement. The teachers came back and said, let's get rid of the requirement. It makes us look too bad. And so now there's no required homeschool testing in Arkansas because it made the public school system look so bad. That's what's happening right now across the country, because there are parents out there who really, truly want to take part in educating their children and want their children to do well. And the reality is, yeah, there'll be some parents out there. There will be that don't take it seriously, and their children are worse off for it. There will be some of those. Absolutely. See, that's part of the chlorine in the gene pool, sink or swim. Not everyone in real life gets a trophy. Okay, if you're going to take your children's education seriously, you'll do well. If you don't, well, your kids won't. Your kids won't. But see, that's liberty. That's real freedom. You have the freedom to fail, and you have the freedom to succeed. It's up to you on how much work and hard work you put into this. Now, before we end this video, I want to put out one other piece of information. And parents, listen close. Dads especially, this is a message out to you dads. Don't rely on your wife to do this by yourself. You need to take part in this. You need to put forth the effort into helping your wife make this happen. She can't do it by herself. She can't. And you putting this completely on her, or not being a full partner in this, or not encouraging your wife, because here's the deal. Your wife has this motherly instinct of protection of her children. And when she comes home and she sees this packet of garbage from the public school system that she's teaching her children, her motherly instinct of protection kicks in, because she's like, I don't want my kids to learn this. And I don't want my children to have the bar set so low that they don't know anything once they graduate. That's the motherly instinct of protection. And dads, jump on board. Don't leave. I see so many emails, and I hear so many testimonies of moms who are just basically left to do this on their own. And the dads don't encourage, the dads don't take a part in it. In our house, my wife, basically, it was her job to go out and do whatever she did the research on homeschool. But you know what? I did not micromanage her. That was her job. I let her do it, and I respected her decisions on what she chose because I know she took education seriously. I did not try to micromanage her at all. Dads, don't try to micromanage your wives. Instead, give her the encouragement, give her all the support she needs to do a good job. And then help with the kids. If she needs help with something, when it comes to homeschooling, dive in there and help. Okay, that's enough of my rant. I get a lot of emails, and I see a lot of comments on social media that moms are doing this all on their own and that dads aren't really playing a part in it. It's a team effort, okay? This is called parenting. It's not, you can do more than just going out and winning, providing for your family. You can help be the backbone that your wife needs when it comes to education, because there are going to be times when she gets frustrated and she just wants to just quit. And you can't let her do that. You need to encourage her and be there to support her. All right. Speaking from experience. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, maybe there's a silver lining in this. Listen, I want to know what you think. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Are you homeschooling? Are you not homeschooling? And if you're not homeschooling, I want to know what your thoughts are on maybe homeschooling after this point. What have you seen now that you have seen the stuff coming from the public schools, the packets that they were sending home to the kids to do? What did you think? Leave a comment below. Make sure before you go to like and subscribe to this video. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe and like the video. We want you to like it because YouTube needs to know that there are people out there who actually watch our channel and like the content you see here. So hit that like button and leave a comment. Subscribe if you haven't done so, and then check out the sponsor at the end of the video. Also, t-shirts available in the description below if you want to get some t-shirts, cool t-shirts for an American homestead. And the new gardening course is available online. You can check that link in the description below. For those of you who are new first-time gardeners, check out that. Every purchase you make from the links in the description below go to help the homestead. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time on An American Homestead. Hey guys, I'm happy to introduce an American Homestead sponsor, Zervita Zeal. Now, first off, I only accept sponsors from products that I use and believe in. My family uses Zeal mainly because we want to ensure a healthy immune system. You see, it's made up of only whole food concentrates and includes no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. The included sweetener is all natural from fruit and the stevia leaf. It's gluten-free, it's vegan, and it's kosher. In 2018, my youngest son was involved in a bike accident that resulted in the surgical removal of his spleen, and that's an important part of his immune system. And because we live on a farm, you can guess that having a healthy immune system for our family is very important. Some of the included ingredients are beetroot, chicory root, turmeric, moringa, blueberries, cranberry, goji berry, milk thistle, ginseng, alfalfa, broccoli, and so much more. It's these natural ingredients that can easily be made into a powerful and tasty drink that my family can make and feel good about. So sign up and give it a try today. Every purchase you make goes to help the homestead so that we can continue to make great homesteading videos for you. Link is in the description below. Go ahead, give it a try. Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.